Breaking now, new information in the search for Brogan Dully, the UC student missing since Sunday. 9 on Your Side staying on top of every development in this case. In fact, 9 on Your Side reporter Jason Law is live at police headquarters in Avondale with what we're learning today. Jason.
Tanya, we're standing outside of headquarters, District 4 here in Avondale, and Lieutenant Colonel James Whalen is actually starting the press conference now with the latest. Let's go to Lieutenant Colonel James Whalen.
Investigative update in the search, the ongoing search that's going on for Brogan Dully. Brogan Dully is a 21-year-old man, lives over in the Walnut Hills and Clifton areas, that has been missing, to the best of our knowledge, since Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, May the 18th, around 3 o'clock in the morning. I can tell you that our investigation has revealed to this point that Mr. Dully went to some Clifton bars and some establishments with his friends. He had been drinking some alcoholic beverages, but there's no reason to think that he was incapacitated to any degree. Him and his friends came home at one point, and we can show them being in their neighborhood. We can show him being in the neighborhood of his home and actually at his home from around 2:20 in the morning on Sunday morning until about 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, May the 18th. He then left his home again, telling his friends he needed to go look for his cell phone. He lost his cell phone sometime during the evening. We came into possession of some video last night that a Crime Stoppers tip, a neighbor volunteered to us, some exterior surveillance camera that shows what we believe is Mr. Dully walking down the street looking for his cell phone at about 3 o'clock in the morning. So it appears that what he said he was going to do is exactly what he did go do. He has seen a gentleman that we believe is him. It's dark, of course. The video quality isn't the best, but with a light, looking around in the street like he lost something. So we think he was looking for his phone. At some point, he goes out of camera range, and so as of about 3 o'clock Sunday morning, we don't have any other signs of where he is. We don't have any other indications of where he is. I can tell you that the investigation to this point has been very extensive. We've reviewed camera data that's been made available to us, both at the establishments that he visited as well as the one I just mentioned. We've looked at Mr. Dully's phone activity. His phone appeared to lose power later on in the morning, Sunday morning, maybe 5 or 6 in the morning. But the last time it pinged in the neighborhood where we know he was. And so there was no reason to think that that was an issue. He doesn't appear to have any access to a car. When he left his home to go look for his phone, he left his keys stuck in the doorway, and he left his wallet in his apartment because he came home, took all of his stuff off, we think, and then realized he didn't have his phone and decided to go back out and look for it. He didn't have any money on him, to our knowledge. His credit, debit, his access to additional funding has not been touched, tapped, or used, so there's no additional resources coming into him that way. We do have a tablet, a laptop-type tablet that he has that we're trying to get through a password that we're having a little trouble with, and nobody else knows it. We do have a laptop that appeared to belong to the swim club where he worked. That just came into our possession recently, and we're just now getting into that to see if that plays a factor. And we know that there are extensive efforts going on, some reward money that's been posted by the university and by some local business people and some other folks. Some additional assistance that's been provided to the family and to the police department, and we're very appreciative of all those efforts. I have a statement that I'm going to read here in a moment from the family that the family wanted me to share with you here. And I also want to encourage, and I'll say this a couple times, encourage anybody that knows anything about where Brogan is to call Crime Stoppers at 352-3040. That is our central repository for information coming into this case. Our procedure on missing persons is that the District of Occurrence handles the case for the first 7 days. Because we feel like we've exhausted all the leads that we can at this level, we are kicking this case up a little bit early to our criminal investigation section. All that really means is we'll detail the detectives that have been working on this case from the district to criminal investigation section, and it broadens the net of resources that we put out there in an attempt to locate Mr. Dully. Let me read this statement from Mr. Dully's mother, and then I'll take any questions that you may have. Mr. Dully's mother says, "We are overwhelmed by the love and support of the Cincinnati community and every single person helping to get Brogan's story out to the public and to bring him home safely. If there is anyone who thinks they may know something about Brogan's whereabouts, please call Crime Stoppers. You may hold the missing piece of the puzzle that can help bring Brogan home. Directly to Brogan, she wants to say, we love you, we miss you. If you see this, nothing else matters but getting you home. I forget anything important? No. Okay. I'll take any questions you have.
You guys have moved this now to a criminal detachment. Does that mean you've changed this from being foul play not suspected to foul play is suspected?
No, we don't have any reason to suspect foul play, and as a matter of fact, the video that came into our possession last night touches on that. We see him doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Nobody's chasing him. There's no reason to suspect foul play from there. So the title criminal investigation section is where these gentlemen work, and it's a citywide responsibility. So this is more a matter of responsibility for the case closure, the shift and assignment of the case.
What's his history? Has he done this before?
Okay, hold on one second. Rich?
We've talked about this just a moment ago. You look at hundreds and hundreds of these cases every single year. What makes this one different?
The Cincinnati Police Department averages about 1,500 missing person cases per year. What makes this one different is we are basically into our 5th full day here that Brogan's been missing. We've exhausted most of the leads that we can find, and I don't know any more about where he is today than I did when I first found out about this on Monday evening when this was first reported to us. So that's what makes it different. Even when we don't find people right away, we at least have some decent information about where they went. There's a loved one in another state, or they want to be someplace else. We're talking about an adult male who left on his own terms here. So it is just our sole purpose is to make sure that he's okay.
How much of a help is this social media explosion surrounding this particular case? That in itself is pretty extraordinary.
It's a lot of help, and I'll tell you, the video that came into our possession, that's probably our most valuable piece of evidence, came as a result of a resident who saw the media, the public media and the social media reports of this, and provided us with what has probably been the most helpful key right now, that he did leave his apartment to go look for his phone. He was in fact looking for his phone and was relatively unscathed at that point, and we're looking for him from there.
Okay. Have you learned anything new about his background? Has he disappeared before?
I know a little bit about his background, and really what I would tell you is there's nothing compelling in there. He is a 21-year-old man trying to decide what he's going to do with his life. He went to school in Michigan. He's going to school here. His family is a better resource for exactly what makes Brogan tick, and I don't really know much more than that, other than he has the same troubles everybody else has.
There have been reports of possible sightings.
We've had a lot of, and I will tell you, we've responded on every one of those. We've not been able to confirm anything. We don't know. We don't think, yes, he was here and now he's gone, as far as one of these sightings goes. When we get to these places, and we've had a number of those, we've shown his picture around, and the people that are actually there, we've had him at homeless encampments, we've had him at public places of business, we had one at the public library yesterday. Nobody that's actually there has said, yes, I saw him, I think that was actually him. And so we're still exploring that. But I'll tell you what, that's not a waste of our time. Continue to send us those calls, we'll continue to investigate those.
Is there any indication that he actually did just leave on his own, other than this video of him searching?
We don't know. We don't know. There's no, as I mentioned before, there's no credit or debit indication that he's someplace else, or that his property was taken as being used by someone else. So I really don't know the answer to that question.
He hadn't said anything to anybody. It was a complete surprise to family.
No, he spent the day before he went missing, he spent with his mother, and everything was fine. The evening he spent with his friends, literally prior to his departure, they determined that everything seemed to be fine with him. There was no other indications that he was going to go somewhere or do something drastic.
No fights or anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Is there anything to say he got in a vehicle or anything?
He doesn't have access to a vehicle. His friends that night did have a vehicle. We know, matter of fact, that vehicle shows up in our video. We know where that vehicle is. We've looked everywhere along those lines. He primarily used the Metro bus system, the transit system, to get around. And we are currently working with Metro to see if we can track his activity, if he might have had a fare card. I don't know the answer to that question yet.
So he's an adult male. He's allowed to do what he chooses.
Correct.
How concerned should people be about what appears to be this anomaly in his existence?
I'll answer that by saying what I started off with. I don't know where he is, what happened to him, but we have no evidence of foul play at this point. We have to operate off of the assumption that he decided to do something, and he's doing it. He decided to go somewhere, and that's where he is. or if foul play befell him, it's just unusual that we don't get a phone call, somebody saw something. We've even checked the radio runs in the area where the officers responded for perhaps a fight or shots fired, and nothing was found. We're even backtracking on those to make sure that we don't miss anything there. Captain Neville organized a foot search of the area last night when we got this video, and foot searched the area around there. We're exhausting every lead that we can. What I think this tells the average, everyday common citizen is that there's nothing more to fear today than there was the day before Brogan went missing, because we don't know what to be afraid of. We don't know that he hasn't made some decisions here, or if something has befallen him.
Considering the possibility of foul play, are there any registered offenders in the neighborhood, and are there any plans to talk to them?
We're talking to every single person that we can find up there. I'm not particularly aware of any registered offenders in the neighborhood, but that's certainly an aspect of the investigation that we'll cover.
Do you plan on releasing the video from Saturday?
Absolutely, and right now we have to, it's an IT issue to figure out how to get it into a form that we can release it to you. Our PIO office will be handling that for us today, and I anticipate it coming to you later on this afternoon. Let me tell you a little bit what you're going to see on that video. You see Brogan and two of his friends walking along, and they're pushing a grocery cart. I don't know where it came from. I don't really care much, but they're pushing. So when you see the three guys with the grocery cart, we think that that's them. When they arrive home at 179 East McMillan, did I say that right? 179 East McMillan. Two of the friends got in the car and went back around to Taco Bell to get some food, because you can't get served unless you're in a car. The lobby's closed and they don't allow foot traffic through the door. Brogan took the grocery cart and he took it into his apartment building, and he took it all the way up into his apartment. Stuck his keys in the door, left his keys in the door. We think he forgot and left his keys in the door. So when he went back out to look for his phone, his keys were still stuck in the interior door, and he wouldn't have been able to re-access the exterior door, the lobby door of his building. So when he got back home, presuming that he did from looking for his phone, he was locked out. We don't know that he ever made it back there. I don't have anybody that saw him there. There's no video evidence of that because he's outside of the camera range that we have. But we know that his keys are stuck in his door, so we've got those. We know that he left his wallet, and the jacket that he had on that night is all inside the apartment right where he put it.
His phone was activated sometime during the night and then shut off.
The Verizon people tell us that his phone last pinged, is the term they use, or sent out a digital identifier around, Brett help me, 2:20 in the morning? 2:24 in the morning. It pinged off of a tower that would serve the area that we know he was. So that covers a several block area, and we don't know any more than that about his phone. The final thing that I'll tell you, and I was just reminded of this, is the last known clothing description of Brogan Dooley is that he had on a blue or a purple shirt, a dark colored shirt, khaki pants, a black jacket, and black and white Nike shoes. That'll conclude the statement for today.
Is the video
You have been watching a news conference held by Cincinnati Police Department. That was Lieutenant Colonel James Whalen that you were watching there, and we got a lot of information out of that news conference. And yet again, it just feels like we still don't know a whole lot about what is going on with Brogan Dooley. He is a Turpin High School graduate, a University of Cincinnati student, who on Sunday morning about 2 in the morning decided he needed to go look for his phone, which he thought he had left somewhere else. He had been out with his friends having some cocktails. He's 21 years old, came home and thought he needed to go find it. They do say that there is no reason to suspect foul play at this point. The 1,500 cases that Cincinnati police see every year of missing people, they say by now something would have turned up, some evidence, some person saying, oh, we saw him, and we have seen and heard of many sightings of him, potential sightings, but police say they have gone to those places and over the Rhine primarily, downtown Cincinnati, and people who are there say, no, we have not seen this kid anywhere. He is an adult, so he can walk away whenever he wants to, according to police. But at this point, they just don't know what is happening with Brogan Dooley and where he might be at this point. They are asking for you to call Crime Stoppers if you know. Of course, we're going to have so much more on this story throughout our day, and including as we continue with 9 on Your Side.